correct now. Oh, hey, look at that. It's working. Huzzah. Are we live? Perhaps we are live. Correctly this time. There. I think we're live. I think we're doing good. Yes. Look at that. Look at that. All right. So, is anybody watching? I don't know if they are or not. It's tough to tell with all of this stuff. Got two things here. I have a message there. All right. Well, I'm pretty new to this streaming stuff, so we'll see how this goes. I haven't done it on my own yet, but now here I am. So hopefully, all goes well. Oops. I mucked about with it. That's probably fine. All right. So, we are here on episode 2 of Tech Tuesday. I'm going to probably mess around with a little bit of this here. Yeah, we are live on Tech Tuesday. I just recently accidentally made, just prior to this, made Mike go live accidentally because we use my computer for his live stream. So that was my mistake. So if anybody caught a live stream from Mike, ignore it. That was me. Because tech is complicated and I messed it up. So, yeah, so second episode of Tech Tuesday. My name is Kyle Harks, and I will be your host. I'm streaming from my own little tiny house studio this time. I can show you. Where's my scenes here? I'll show you. Boop. There. Tiny house studio. It's set up for what I wanted to demonstrate today. I've been messing around with flashes. So I'm told that lighting never does well when it comes to videos. So I figured it would kind of be a good thing to test in a live stream, since live streams, especially with YouTube, are a little odd. So I figured I'd tackle the flash thing, the lighting thing, since it seems to be not so popular. But I think it's very important. I think it's very, very important, actually. I think it's the most important thing. It's maybe not the most sexy topic, but it is definitely the most important, because without light, you would have no photography. So there you go. There's really no way around it. So I set up my studio. I recently got, let's see, I'll go grab it here. So I recently picked up a bunch of wireless transmitters and receivers and a new flash to test, and so far I'm liking it. Now, so that's the receiver. Can you see it? Yeah. So flip that upside down. So that's the Godox XR or X1R. So the R stands for receiver, obviously. The little C there that you can kind of see is means it's for Canon cameras. So, and then since I shoot Canon, that's what it's for. So these little receivers, I've been testing them for the last little while, testing them most of the morning. I struggled with it a lot this morning because it doesn't seem to work with the 5D Mark IV for some reason. So that's interesting. So I'll have to see if I can do some research over the next little while to figure out why that might be. I see there's one viewer in there. I don't know if that's if that's me watching my own stream or if that's somebody else. If there's someone watching, feel free to say hi. That would be great. Love to hear from you. It says 0 there, but anyways, maybe there's 1, maybe there's 0. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I struggle with it because it doesn't seem to work with the 5D Mark IV, which is a little disappointing since that's my primary camera. But it does work with the 6D Mark II, which is perfect because at least one camera it works with, and it worked flawlessly. I plugged the flash in, and that's great. My cousin is coming down at some point, July 6th, I think, and I'm going to kind of walk her through photography. My aunt and uncle explained that she seems to enjoy photography, and so I figured I'd offer to put her up for a little while and give her the chance to shadow me for a little bit. I've got the space, I've got the tech now to really allow her to really explore it and learn it as best as she can in the short time that she's going to be here. But I figured the second flash was going to be important for that, so I'm really happy that the Godox works on the 6D Mark II. Because the 5D Mark IV, it works. I have a Yongnuo flash, and it works on the 5D Mark IV, but it's not. It doesn't work the same with these transmitters and receivers. I'll show you the transmitter in a minute. It's on the camera. But yeah, so I'm really glad that works. That's very helpful. Yeah. So, anyways, these basically allow you to wirelessly trigger your flashes from your camera, and so if you're setting up a shoot of some sort, if you're setting up like maybe a product shoot or you're shooting portraits or whatever, this is a great way of doing it. It seems to work really well. I've only had the morning to really test them and play around with them, but I've been watching a bunch of videos, so I kind of know a little bit about them. But just from testing them, they work great. They work absolutely great. I don't have to worry. I bought 2 of these receivers, and I got 1 transmitter. So the 1 transmitter can work to a number of these receivers. You can, not infinite, but a bunch of them. You can have 3 to 5 groups, either 3 or 5. There's not really an in between. And then you can have up to 32 channels. So I haven't really played with that a lot. I don't know what the different channels would do. I don't know if that means I could. Well, I guess what it means is if I set up a bunch of groups, if I set up a group A, B, and C on channel 1, and then set up a group of these. So if I set up, I wanted 3 different looks. Say I was shooting real estate. I think real estate would be a great example where you could use this really effectively. You could set up. How am I going to approach this? Yeah, so you could set up. So say I had 3 groups, and I wanted to set each of them up in a different location. We'll just do 1 flash. We'll keep it simple for now. 1 flash. Each one is in a different group, and each one is on a different channel. So, or even. Anyways, you could fire a group. You could fire one group on channel 1. You could then take another picture and fire another group on channel 2, and then fire another group on channel 3. And each set of flashes would give you a different lighting setup and would give you a different lit area. So, in regards to real estate, for example, if you had a very large house, and so I'm thinking of a specific house because I watched a video a while back on this. So say you got a staircase, right, and you want the staircase lit. You could say that your first group would be to set up to light that staircase the way you want it, right? And then say you could see back into the rest of the house. You could see further into it, and yeah, so you could see kind of like a back room in there, maybe a living room or something, and then like even outside, maybe there's another room back there that you could see, and you want each of those 3 steps to be lit, because if you fire the flashes in the front, what's going to happen is it's going to light up that front room, and then everything past that, everything in the back area, there'll be a bit of light bleed depending on where you put the flashes, but it'll just be dark. You just won't be able to see anything, and you want that for at least one shot, but you don't want that to be all of your shots, because what you're going to do is you're going to stitch these together after, and you're going to evenly light basically the whole house. So you set up the second group of flashes to illuminate the living room, and then so you take the first picture, light the staircase. Maybe even the first picture you would take that you would just even do even lighting, just the base lighting, natural light coming in the windows, nothing fancy. You might want that as a sort of a base, and depending on how it was lit, maybe you would want to mask up the windows or something. This is all stuff you do in Photoshop or Lightroom. So then what you do is you take your basic exposure, and then you set up your first set. So that'd be really easy with these, because you would just set up your group on channel 1, and on group, A, B, and C. Say it was a real big house, and you were setting up 2 or 3 flashes on that group, or in those groupings, and then you take that picture, you light up your staircase the way you'd like it. Maybe you have to play with it a bit, because in my case I haven't done it in such a complicated way before, so I would have to test it. But a more experienced photographer might be able to get it in one shot. He'd probably know his settings and all that stuff a little better. Since I'm just learning flashes, it was a very daunting topic for me, because it's you don't know what you don't know, and you just gotta play with it. You just gotta play with it, and learn. And this is one of those things where you have to learn by doing it. So you set up that group, you flash that staircase, and then you set up you just switch the channel on this to channel 2, and then you have 2 or 3 other flashes in the living room lighting up various areas. Of course, they're out of sight, but you would light those, like that, and then say you had another room that you could see that was even further back that wouldn't be lit by the first 2 groups. So then you set up a third group on channel 3, and you flash that back room, and then all 3 of those, or 4 of those exposures, you would take them later and pull them into Photoshop, and then you would stitch them all together and make an evenly lit real estate photo, and that's sort of how you would get a much better look to your photos for shooting real estate, which is I think that's a better approach, because a lot of people don't seem to light with real estate photos. I know I have the few photos I've taken, I haven't really lit them because I didn't have the tech. The one I've taken, I haven't processed these photos yet, but I might do that later on today. And I was using continuous light sources, so I will show you. So you can see that light off to the right there. Actually, I can just turn the camera, I think. Is it gonna move? I don't know if it's gonna move. Hey, camera, what are you doing? Did my stream freeze or something? I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to want to move anyways. I don't know. I don't know what's up there. Anyways. Well, it's being strange. I don't know. Anyways, the wonders of tech, I suppose. Where was I? Oh, I was using those continuous lights. So you could see the light off to the extreme right there, and I was using those, and they're great for video. They're great for small shoots, but for bigger real estate stuff, they're kind of useless. They illuminate a small area, and they don't really the light cast from them. So like if you've got them near a corner or something like that, the light will cast up and it will splash in weird ways. And their scope is fairly limited. They're not they don't fire the light in all the ways because of the softbox on them. So softbox, basically what it is most of them are reflective. So they're like they're like a funnel you would put in a bottle. Think of them like that. So they're like a funnel, and on the inside of the funnel, they got a reflective material, usually like a foil of some kind, and then and so the light is concentrated off in one direction, and then you've got a diffuser of some kind. They're usually like a white material of some sort. You can get different ones, and that will be the that'll diffuse the light, so it'll make the light softer. Because for most things you don't want really harsh shadows. Sometimes it's desired, but most shoots you want a sort of softer light. So they're very useful for a lot of things. They are not so useful for shooting real estate because you want to illuminate an entire room and not just a small spot. So the light cast in them wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So I kind of had to play with it a bit, take a bunch of photos where different things were lit, and I'm going to stitch them all together in Photoshop and try to do the best I can. But for real estate, you want these flashes. You want a strobe of some kind. Strobe and flashes are basically the same thing. Strobes are just larger. They work a little differently. I will do more research and figure that out because I don't own any strobes, so I don't know the exact differences. But they tend to be larger. They tend to be a little more powerful and all that stuff. So that's very good. But I don't have the opportunity to test those yet because I'm still fairly new to all of this. I'm just going to do a quick check here. YouTube seems to be working. That seems to be working. Oh yeah, something I was going to bring up. So last week I had a fan reach out to me with a piece of tech, and I just wanted to address this sort of early on. I really appreciated him reaching out to me and all that, and telling me, showing me this thing that he wanted me to check out. So it's I've got it over here on my other monitor, so I'm going to kind of read it off to it. I'm going to do a little bit of due diligence, but it's called the HandyScan 3D Professional Metrology grade 3D scanner. So metrology, I thought that's the meteorology. Didn't read it properly first. So it's a portable scanner, and basically what you do is you almost hold it like you would hold a hose. It's kind of a strange shape, but you hold it like you would almost hold a hose washing down something, and you just kind of scan. It casts all these big crisscross blue lights, blue lasers across whatever you're scanning, and it'll generate a 3D image or generate a 3D model of whatever you're scanning. So it seems to be pretty advanced, very advanced technology, fast and versatile, blah blah blah. Highly accurate and repeatable results, even in difficult environments with complex surfaces. So yeah, you can recreate very complicated 3D models of the thing that you're scanning. So very interesting, very cool. Not the technology I care about, to be quite frank about it. This isn't sort of the direction I'm going with this. This is Tech Tuesday. The point of Tech Tuesday is to cover photography stuff, to cover video stuff. That's sort of my area of expertise. I am not an expert in every bit of technology. He asked about Windows and Mac. I don't mind covering that sort of thing because those are relevant. But 3D scanners, not really relevant to me. And I cannot imagine any use where you would use a 3D scanner in any sort of photography setup. There's no real use for it unless you're shooting it, unless you're actually doing a product shoot for it, or doing a video for a demonstration of this particular object. It doesn't really have any use in a photography shoot, and that's not my area of expertise. I'm not really the kind of person who's going to need to do that. So I appreciate the input. I appreciate the reaching out and showing me this thing and getting me to take a look at it. I'll be happy to take brief looks at these sorts of things. So I'm by no means telling you not to do that, but it's not really the type of technology that I'm going to be talking about for the most part, because it's not my area of expertise. It's just not relevant to my field. So I appreciate it, but you're not going to get you're probably not going to get the information out of me that you're looking for with it. If you're looking to purchase something like that, or if you're just generally interested in it, I would just suggest Googling it yourself, because you're going to get about as much information out of that as you're going to get out of me, because that's exactly what I'm going to do, and that is exactly what I did. So, yeah, I would just try to stick to tech that is a little more relevant to the photography field if you really want to learn about stuff that I might have something to say about, because that's where my area of expertise is, and so that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, so that's that. I don't want to be too much of a jerk about it, but it's just not really relevant to me. So, anyways, I'm gonna switch over here to the other camera. Hopefully, it's working properly. I don't know if it is. I actually don't know that it is. It seems to be frozen. So, let's see here. Oh, I bet you that's why. Ah, yes, that's why. I had minimized it. That was my bad. Okay, that was the light I was talking about, by the way. Yeah, so I minimized it. That's why. This software, just as a side note, this software is great, but it's got its limitations. So it's kind of tech. So I'll briefly touch on it. When you plug in an EOS camera, a Canon camera, what it does is it brings up the EOS utility, and that allows you to do live mode. And then the live mode, you can do this, and that's what I'm doing when I'm doing this. It captures the window, but it captures the window, not the direct input from the camera. So the problem with that is if you minimize the window, it actually freezes the video, and then you get a video that doesn't work. So it's it's kind of finicky that way. I neglected to do that, or neglected to remember that, so that was my bad. So yeah, so I'm going to demonstrate this. I'm not going to take my headphones off because then I won't be able to hear myself. So what we've got here, for those of who are interested, we have the 60 Mark II. So that's my camera, or one of the two. And then you can see the Canon 70-200 f2.8L lens. It's the version 2 of the lens, so the previous version. And then I've got here on top is the Godox. Let's see if the camera will focus on it. It's the Godox X1T C. So the C again stands for Canon, and the X1T is just the name of the thing. So that's the transmitter as opposed to the receiver. And then over here, you can't really see it very well, so I'm standing in the way. I've got the receivers. So this is the Yongnuo flash that I've been using for the last few months. It is a very good flash. It does actually work with the 5D Mark IV, so that's nice to know. And then over here in the corner that you can't see because I'm standing in front of it is the Godox flash. Now these should already be set up in the mode that they need to be in. The Yongnuo flash will not work without this receiver. So I'll give them a test. You can see there. It's tough to see with the video because it's so fast. But where are we here? There. Okay, so the flashes are working. Yeah, the Yongnuo one will not work without the transmitter and receiver, without the receiver, whereas the Godox flash over in the corner there actually does work without the receiver. So that's actually very helpful. It means I purchased two of them, and two of the receivers, and thinking, oh, I might need this. I might need this extra receiver. And yeah, oh, there we go. Yeah, so I purchased 2 of them thinking I might actually need this extra receiver. And for the Godox Flash, turns out I don't. So that's fantastic. That means I can now expand to a 3rd flash, and it can be either or. It can be pretty much any flash. The receivers work with the transmitter no matter what, so I can turn any flash into effectively a Godox flash that I can then use with at least the 60 Mark II. So yeah, so we're going to test this. Throw that there. So this is just kind of a limited test. And actually, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to turn this off. So it's going to be a little dark, and I apologize for that. But hopefully this will work. So, all right, I'm going to test these. All right, so that works. So that was me hitting this. So there's a test button on the top of this thing, right? And if you hit that with these receivers and just the Godox Flash, you get that. So it'll actually, it's sending the signal. So what I'll do here is my live view. You can't see me doing this, and I apologize for that. Actually, that's not true. I can just do this and turn this into a much wider thing. So I don't want to do that one. Yeah, it's going to be a little dark, but you should be able to get the idea. So yeah, so I'm really glad that I have this wide angle lens. So I'm going to shoot a couple of pictures of this thing, just in the chair here, because, you know, it's pretty low. And we'll see how they turn out with the flashes. So it casts a very large shadow the way I have them set up. Let's see here. What I'll do, see if I can do this on camera so you can see. Actually, I have a better idea. I'll sit down and do this. Boom. Webcam. Make it brighter in here. So you can kind of see the back there. It's a little hard. As well, the reflection. It's a window right here, so it's tough to see. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change. So group A, I believe group A is, which is group A? Okay, group A is the Godox Flash over in the corner there. And then group B is this Yongnuo flash here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the if I can remember how to do it. I don't remember how to do this. I'd like to change B. Actually, I wonder if I can do this. Let's see. There. Okay, so that only flashes one. So so basically what I did there is I just changed the flash. Oh dude, get my thoughts together here. Jeez. So I changed group B to channel 2. So now it only flashes the Godox Flash. So what I do, if I had another tripod, which I do in my house, but I'm not going there and getting it right now. what I do is I will take a picture with just channel 1 working, and then I'll take another photo with channel 2 working. And that should have flashed a completely different camera. Yes, a completely different flash. So, yeah, it gives a completely different look. So, what we'll do here is we'll kind of mess around with this a bit. It's kind of tough because I've got this window over here. You can't see it, but all the way around you can see the entire tiny house, which is fun. I've got this window right here, and I don't have any. I don't have like a drape for it or anything, so that makes it very difficult to eliminate the natural light, which can be tough. It can play hell with your photography. So when you're trying to really control the light, it's not so good. So I'll turn that back off. Oh, that was the upstairs one. We'll leave that one on just for what little light it gives us. So I'm gonna aim this flash then at there. Turn it a bit. And I'm going to turn it back to channel 1 because that could be useful. If I bought 2 more flashes, I would be able to do this differently. I'd be able to play with it. So maybe I'll have to stick to this Yongnuo and Godox setup. But I'm going to take another picture here. Going to change the channel back to 1 on the receiver, or on the transmitter, sorry. And then I'm going to take another picture. So, all right. So I'll kind of go through these. Actually, I wish I could set up the. The 60 Mark II to do the same thing. That'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it? I could use it on the EOS utility. So what I'll do is I'll cut that. I'll turn on my light again here. Although it might not matter. Camera's kind of blocking it, but that's alright. So I'll kind of go through these. So that was the original shot taken. And that was with the first flash. It was with the Yongnuo flash sort of immediately in front of the skull, and then the Godox flash in the corner. And then that's the second picture, so similar. And then, or no, wait, that's just the Godox flash. That was when I fired just the Godox flash. And then that was when I fired the Yongnuo flash. So the Yongnuo flash was aimed directly upwards, so it was creating more light bounce. But it ended up in a very much softer light, as you can tell. And then, if I go one more over, wait, which way am I going here? Oh, that's a different picture set. And that was both of them. So I have a feeling that, actually I'll just check that. No, they're at the same light level. I think that was the, I think that was because of the natural light. So it's tough to mess around with this stuff in this little studio at the moment. And obviously since I have to show you pictures that way, it's not so good. But anyways, I'll work on that, and we'll see what I can do. I wonder, I'm going to test something. Don't mind me. Oop. No, it just captures the live feed from the camera. I was hoping maybe the replay would work. but it doesn't. That's too bad. Anyways, yeah, so what are we at now? We're at right about 35 minutes. The last Tech Tuesday, oh, that's not a big deal. Yeah, the last Tech Tuesday ran for about 30, 35-ish minutes as well. This one I'm going to run a little longer, if for no other reason than I just kind of want to explain where I'm trying to go with this. So yeah, so Tech Tuesday is sort of my way of, what do I say? Tech Tuesday is my way of kind of sharing my knowledge and building a bit of credibility for myself, trying to establish myself as an expert in this field, and so I need to start putting more content out. So the live streams are one facet of that. At some point I'm going to be starting a YouTube channel. That'll sort of be a way for me to flex and practice my video abilities. I've gotten really good. I've been working with Mike Rosehart for 6 or 7 months now, maybe even a little longer, and my skills have really improved through his channel. It's also been, it's been a great learning experience. It's been a bit, what should we say? A bit embarrassing at times, because it's me. Like, people don't directly attribute it to me necessarily, but I think people are starting to realize that it's in fact me who's editing his videos. So it can be a little embarrassing at times, because it's like, oh, I messed that up, or I messed that up, or whatever. But that's the only way you grow, right? And that's the only way that you get better at these things. And if people don't point out the flaws, even if they're nasty about it, I don't really care if people are nasty about it at this point. I used to take it badly, but at this point, be as mean as you want. I mean, within reason, but it doesn't really bother me anymore. If anything, I just get to the point where I say, okay, you do it then. If you can do it better, then great. Mike's channel's been a great way for me to learn and grow and get better at that sort of thing. So I figure at some point I'll be launching my own channel. Really, it's already there. Like, I already have a channel up, but it's not really. There's really nothing on it. It's kind of dead at the moment. So what I will likely do is I'll likely start filming and uploading videos a little more consistently, let's say, and I'll be able to just kind of. I want to focus on a few different things. I'm not 100% on the topics yet. It will not be tech based. I don't really want to do reviews or anything like that. I don't think that's really the way I want to go with that. The purpose of this live stream will be for that sort of thing. So I might just stream the Tech Tuesday. Right now I'm streaming it to YouTube and Facebook. I might drop that down to just Facebook, because I think that is a good spot for it, maybe. I'm going to test and see. Basically, I'm just experimenting with it to see how it does in both locations at the moment. So we'll see. Whichever one starts to perform better is the one I'll likely end up going with. So if that ends up being YouTube, then I'll do YouTube. And if not, then I'll do Facebook. But I've got a while before I think I would put them on Facebook, because I would want them to be more engaging. I would want them to be a little more engaging. I want there to be people who are enjoying them. And right now, there are very few people watching, which is perfect, because that gives me a chance to get you a little more used to talking to the camera. But yeah, I want people to be. I want people to enjoy them, and I'd like to be like, this was kind of a haphazard setup today. I put a lot of effort into it, because I'm not. I don't like to half-ass things, but it's still a bit of a haphazard setup, because, well, mostly I don't have all of the camera angles I would like, for any given situation. Like, if I want to show you the images on the 6D Mark II, I'd like to be able to bring those up on the screen. I'd like to do multi-screen setups or whatever. I've got 2 monitors here, but it doesn't seem to be working with OBS right now, so I have to kind of tweak stuff and figure out stuff, play with things, and see that improve. But I'd like to be able to be a little more prepared for all situations. I mean, I've got both of these going, right, so you can see what I'm doing in the studio with the 5D Mark IV. But if I had a third camera set up, I mean, I've got the webcam here right now. If I wasn't doing a photography demonstration, maybe I could set up the 6D Mark II. I don't know how that would work. I don't know if that would. I don't know if the EOS utility can do 2 cameras at a time. I'm not really sure. That would be interesting to test that out. Maybe I'll do that out after the stream. But yeah, it would be nice to have a few more cameras able to go, and or video capture of some kind, monitor capture, just in case there was something. Because like I wanted to bring up that HandyScan picture or HandyScan from the browser, I couldn't do it. It wouldn't work. It was very weird. I could try to add it now, I guess, but I don't think it's gonna work. Display capture, like add display capture, display 2, and it doesn't seem to want to work. Like I don't see anything. Display 2, display 1. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. So I have to figure that out, see what's going on there. And yeah, I think Tech Tuesday is going to be kind of my way of being able to talk the tech stuff that I want to talk, and test things out. You know, this will be good for that. Yeah, sorry, my thoughts are kind of all over the place right now. But yeah, so hopefully you got something out of this. I can use this as a way to kind of review these things. I definitely like the Godox transmitters and receivers. I think they're really good. This would be very helpful for someone who, especially considering you can basically put everything on auto, if you're just starting out. For cameras, I never recommend throwing things on auto. I just don't think it's. I just don't. You're not going to learn anything. You might learn how to frame a shot, but even then, with auto exposure and all that stuff, I find it. The computer and the camera can never expose. I had someone tell me once that the computer and the camera knows more than you do, and it's like absolutely not. That's absolutely wrong. A good photographer can always expose a photo better than the camera and the camera than the computer and the camera will. 100%. There's no question about that. The camera on auto settings can work for certain situations. Previously well lit videos is one example, where if you've got set lighting, the auto mode or the aperture priority mode or whatever, those sort of more auto modes can work okay. But if you really want to get into high level editing and stuff like that, you're not gonna get the quality. You're not gonna get the You're not gonna get the usability, I guess, out of it. The files will be when you play with things like your contrast and exposure and stuff in the camera, it removes information. So if you shoot in a flat profile, what that is in Canon cameras at least. I'm not certain about other ones. I know Sony has them. I'm not sure about Nikon. In the Nikon cameras I used, which were just beginner level cameras, they didn't have anything like that. There was no options for that. But in Canon and Sony, I know they have those. They have picture profile. So what it does is you can play with things like exposure. Not exposure. Contrast, sharpness, that sort of thing. Like just the image quality. Actually, what am I doing? I can see it right now. Picture styles. Where are they? Boop-a-doop-doop-doop. 2. Sharpness, strength, fitness, fineness, threshold, contrast, saturation, color tone. So you can play with those sorts of things in it. I think the 5D Mark IV has a few more options in it as well, since it's a professional grade camera. But it allows you to play with your color and your picture and all that in camera. But what happens when you do that is it actually removes information. So if you up the sharpness, it's taking away your ability in post production. In like if you're shooting a video or something like that, it's taking away your ability to really have a softer image if you want. If you find later on that the image was too sharp, you can't reduce it very well, and unless you add like a blur or something like that, which is blurs take longer to render when you're rendering your final image. So the picture profile really has a big a big impact on your video files, especially when you're doing pictures. Not so much. It still does, but if you're shooting in RAW, then you can play with it a lot more than you can with a JPEG, which is just a flattened image. There's no extra information to it, whereas a RAW file is much larger, but it has more information there. It's the actual raw data that the camera saw, so you can really play with it. But shooting in a flat profile allows you to really remove all those problems. It's your image is going to look kind of boring, like your colors are going to be kind of washed out a bit, and there's not going to be a whole lot of contrast in it and stuff like that. But what that does for you is when you pull it into a post-production software of some kind, video software or whatever, it really allows you to play with it more. It allows you to pull more information out of it. It's the closest on these lower grade cameras, and I'm pointing at the 5D Mark IV specifically for a very specific reason on that. The 5D Mark IV has what you can purchase an upgrade for the 5D Mark IV that allows it to shoot in C-Log, and C-Log is the most neutral type of, well, not C-Log specifically, but log data is basically it's the raw data. It's raw to video, what raw camera, like what a raw picture is to just stills. Who's messaging me? Oh, Mike's messaging me. So yeah, so it's raw for video, and so Canon, the 5D Mark IV can allow that upgrade. You got to pay for it, but you can get that upgrade. In things like the 6D Mark II here, you don't have that option. So you have to shoot, and I'm gonna put these hands down. You have to shoot in a flat profile to really see those benefits, and it's not perfect, but it does the trick. So yeah, so that was kind of a long tangent. I'm not sure where I went with that one. Anyways, what I think I'll do here, Mike, what do you want? He's mad at me because he thinks I was doing a test. It's like, no, I wasn't doing a test. I'm trying to do my own stream. This is why I want your computer, or want a different computer for your streams. Stuck on my wall forever. Anyways, okay. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, so Tech Tuesday is going to be kind of a live stream about tech. And I'm going to use it as kind of my way to review stuff for now. Mostly an experiment. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to end it for now. So to anyone who watched, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some value out of it. If you didn't, or if you've got any feedback, let me know. Let me know what you'd like to see. Let me know if you need me to start toning it down a bit. Let me know if you need me to, I don't know, talk stupider. That sounds mean, but what I mean by that is let me know if I need to simplify things. Like maybe the way I'm explaining things is a bit too complicated. I'm not really sure. I don't think so, but I know this stuff, and so sometimes it can be tough to dumb it down so that people can kind of understand from the ground up what you're talking about. I didn't go in depth with these transmitters and receivers because I've only been testing them for a little bit. Maybe I'll come back with them again. I talked about the audio last stream, and we'll see. People seem to like that one. It was my first live stream, so I got a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more engagement on that one. But that's okay. The whole point of these is to explore and figure things out. So, anyways, I will see you guys in the next Tech Tuesday. At some point, I will announce when the Photoshop Friday is coming out. I'm gonna try to figure that out again, as I showed you this time. The display capture doesn't seem to want to work, but maybe window capture or Photoshop will. So I'll have to test that out. I will see you guys next week for Tech Tuesday episode 3, and have a great week, guys. Bye bye.